family, in today's video we're talking about how to overcome your limiting beliefs, because whether or not we realize it, they do have a huge impact on our quality of life. I have 7 tips for you so that you can unlock your mind and start living your best life. And trust me when I say I have overcome some shocking and very deep-rooted limiting beliefs of my own using these very tips, so stay tuned. So tip number 1 is to identify what your limiting beliefs are, obviously. And this is actually quite easy to do once you put in the conscious effort to look for them. You'll start to notice them pop up in your mind in different situations, in conversations, and just in your thoughts in general. So for example, you might be talking to someone and they are talking about these future plans that they have, and you notice a little thought travel through the back of your mind saying something like, oh, I wish I could be like that. I will never be able to do A, B, C. That would be a limiting belief. Tip number 2 is, as you identify each one, write them down. Please do not skip this step. It's very important. If you just try to remember them, it's not going to work. Now, tip number 3 is to identify where that limiting belief came from. And this is a very powerful step, because the first step to overcoming a limiting belief is understanding that most of the time it didn't even come from you. It normally comes from someone or something outside of you. And when you realize that, it takes away a lot of its power. Once you establish where this limiting belief came from, you need to then write that down next to the limiting belief that you identified. So you should have a list of your limiting beliefs, and next to them should be where those beliefs actually came from. Tip number 4 is to now establish why this limiting belief is not even true. And this is my favorite bit. Right now, your belief is, I could never become wealthy because my parents always said money doesn't grow on trees, and I've seen people try to become wealthy and fail, so that means I can't do it. A counter belief to that would be, well, actually, there are people out there with my same resources who have managed to build wealth. Then you realize that your limiting belief of, I could never be wealthy, is simply not true. And you can now replace that with a different belief that is true and is actually useful to you, such as, it's absolutely possible for me to become wealthy. And then tip number 5 is to now write down your new belief. In your limiting beliefs journal, you will see the transition. This is what makes this so powerful, because you will see what your old belief was, how you broke it down and disintegrated it, and how you've come up with your new belief. And just seeing that brain exercise is very powerful in itself. Now, the next step is vital, because it's easy to become aware that you've got a limiting belief, but in order for something to stick and for the brain to really adopt this new belief, what is the key? Repetition. So what you want to do is affirm this new belief to yourself every day if you can, or as often as possible. And there are many ways to affirm, so you can write this new belief down, just affirm it to yourself in your mind or out loud. Just make sure that however you do it, you are getting that belief hammered into your brain every day or every other day. Now, my final tip is the most important of all. Listen, okay? Listen. We can sit around writing out affirmations. We can do this all day long, okay? And it works, don't get me wrong. However, we still need something to solidify that belief system forever. And the way to do that is to go out there and prove to yourself that your new belief is true. Because when you get results that match up with your new belief, it's positive reinforcement and it strengthens your belief every single time. Do this process as many times as you need to, and don't beat yourself up if you find yourself slipping back into old belief systems and patterns. It happens, it's natural. When you're trying to change a belief that you've held for God knows how long at this point, there's going to be resistance and you're going to slip sometimes. That's fine. Just rinse and repeat this process as many times as you need to until you have a whole new belief system. If you found this video useful, please do give it a thumbs up. And as always, if you want good vibes, don't forget to subscribe. Until the next one, I wish you health, wealth, and high vibration.